For me, I like cropping in as far as I can. If it's not just for wildlife, but just for general use, it's really nice just to see how powerful the cameras are and really get close to something. I mean, there is a quote, if it's not good enough, you're not close enough. Well, there's two mysteries with this, really. One, how do they do it? Using artificial intelligence to rebuild your image, any image, a Jpeg or a RAW, if you tell Photoshop RAW to recognise it, to rebuild your image several times bigger than the original one, so it can then crop in and you can print out to any size you like. Even an old Jpeg, you can restore from the past and then blow up, and you can print up and re-edit as much as you like. So I'm going to do a walkthrough now to show the process of how you use Photoshop Enhance and then the comparisons to the old and the new. So where will this technology end? Will it be built into cameras so you can automatically crop in so far without using an expensive lens? Or will it be built into Lightroom or just general technology, even your mobile phone, so you can really crop in? So the second mystery is something that I don't understand, maybe you can help out with. It's to do with exporting the images and the file sizes afterwards. Because obviously if Photoshop creates an image or RAW file a few times bigger, you can end up with massive file sizes that you can't store. So you export them, and then something really interesting happens.
So this is Lightroom Enhance method. I've not had any success with this, but I'll prove it to you now. So use Photoshop, but let's have a look. Got the photo there, right click, enhance details. Then it comes up with a preview, and it's supposed to show you the difference, but it just doesn't show any difference, or I'm not sure if it would anyway. But anyway, so enhance. Right, so it's created a file twice as big, a DNG file, I believe, twice as big. So let's compare it. So this is a 400% crop, and as you can see, they are identical. The one on the left is enhanced, apparently. Even though the file size is twice as big, it looks exactly the same. Maybe it works differently with different files, with different camera models, maybe different lenses, but for me the Lightroom Enhance doesn't work. So now I'll show you Photoshop. Open with Photoshop. So Photoshop should open up with Camera Raw. You can use JPEGs if you tell Photoshop to open JPEGs with Camera Raw. So here we go, the Camera Raw things where you can do all your settings. But what you want to do though is right click and then find the new Enhance feature. Then it will come up with a new box, and while it's thinking about it, you can have super resolution. So it says enhance using machine learning to improve image quality. The result will be saved as a new GNG image. And I've clicked on super resolution before, so it's automatically going to do that. Doubles the image resolution, ideal for large displays and prints. Estimated time 5 minutes. However, let's have a look at a little zoom out. My computer is only a few years old, but it's struggling to deal with the movement of this. So I'm just going to enhance anyway. And then in the bottom left it says time remaining. Click on that, and it's processing it. So I believe it makes an image 5 times bigger than the original file. So you're able to crop in. So there we go. It's created the enhanced file after a few minutes. So there's the original, and you can click on the enhanced because it says up there enhanced. And it's still really difficult to maneuver on this. Adobe seems to have a strange relationship with Apple at the moment. Things don't seem to work very well. So what I'll do, I'll export it. I'm going to export it as a PNG file. And I want it 16 bits. And you can resize it here, although I won't, just to show the example. And I'll click save. Again, this processing can take a few minutes. It just shows how big the file sizes are. So there I have the original file, which is 44 megabyte, and the enhanced one is 314, so that's quite a considerable increase in size there. Obviously that's meant so you can crop in more, but obviously you have to think about file sizes and maybe delete the enhanced one after you've enhanced it and export it as a JPEG. So now I'm going to import into Lightroom so we can compare. And this might take some time as well because of the file size. Even though the computer is relatively new, only 3 years old, quite a good spec, but it struggles. Okay, so here's the two files in Lightroom loaded in. On the original image it's 381% and it's pixelated, as you can't really use that now. However, the new image is still sharp and you can actually see the indentation on the handle there where it's gone eroded. Now that's quite incredible. As you can see, the original image is blurred there because it can't deal with that much crop, whereas this image is 200% and it's sharp. You can even go a bit further and see all the little, you can see which type of screwdriver you need to undo that. Okay, so this is more of an extreme and more pleasing example. So I've done exactly the same before with Photoshop Enhance, and I put them into Lightroom. And so let's have a look. So that's at 188%. So let's do the same with the other one. And that's at 377%. So obviously the enhanced file is at 188% and you can see a lot more detail, it's a lot sharper. Whereas the original file is at this extreme crop, it's obviously going to be blurry. Let's go a bit further in as well to really, so that's at 550% crop. So that's at 300%, and it's still a lot better. Obviously not a great usable image, but it just shows you the power of this Photoshop Enhance. So this is something quite interesting, which I don't fully understand this next part. So if I export the file, let's just call it that, and I export it as a Jpeg, I maximize it, limit file size to 3000 or 3 megabyte. All the rest is the same. So going back to the clock JPEGs, I've exported them both to limit of 3 megabyte. So the enhanced JPEG is 2.47 megabyte. The export of the original file is 2.28. So there's hardly any difference in the file size. Look at the dimensions. 6K by 4K. On the enhanced file, it's 12K by 8K. However, the file size is relatively the same, 2.28 to 2.47. Okay, so this is the 200% crop of the original file exported to JPEG. This is the same percentage zoom, 200%, on the enhanced file which has been exported as a JPEG. This is a 400% crop of the original exported JPEG. This is a 400% crop of the enhanced JPEG. But remember, they're more or less the same file size. I don't really understand how you can be able to zoom in and or crop in on these JPEGs after they've been exported to the same file size. Maybe someone can explain that to me. That would be welcome to know. It's quite beyond me, but still, it makes a good point that the enhanced JPEG export is a lot better.